With the new AMD 9950X, gaming was found to be better on Linux in certain situations, and there is an almost 20% performance increase compared to the previous generation. Oh my god, I'm super excited about this. Let's dive in. So I've been on the fence on creating a Linux desktop, and I've been watching these new CPU reviews like a hawk, these new releases, and surprisingly, these releases have been received rather coldly on YouTube. They say there's an only 3% or 5% performance increase compared to the previous generation, but that is all on Windows. On Linux, the story is very different. I found this review by Phoronix, and he has done a pure Linux benchmarking of 15 pages, and wow, I am sold. I'm gonna buy this. So the thing is, I created a video couple months ago where I explained that I felt stuck on macOS and Windows as a content creator. My hardware wasn't compatible, my performance was not good enough, and ever since I created that video, I felt sad. I miss being the administrator of my own Arch Linux system so much, especially since I created a video, and I want to go back. I want to create a system where I can actually perform these workloads. I can create 4K 60 FPS content. And I think these chips are going to allow me to do that. Because as they say here in the review, the Ryzen 9900 series is great for Linux content creators, developers compiling a lot of code, using any AI type workload, or even just running lots of Python scripts and applications. This is like perfect for me as a DevOps engineer. It's perfect because the requirements I would have for a new system would be to be able to create content, to run my Kubernetes cluster. I mean, I have my production home lab cluster here, but I also want a playground where I can just spin up stuff and tear it down in an easy manner. And I also want to start experimenting with local AI models, but I don't necessarily want to build an entire separate server for that. And lastly, this winter, I'm going to allow some entertainment into my life again, and I'm going to do a Diablo 2 playthrough with a friend of mine and maybe do a little bit more gaming than I've been, like I haven't been gaming at all for the past 5 years. And I need, for that, I need a gaming setup. I have a MacBook Pro. It does everything I do, but I can't even game on it, but I would like to have a gaming setup as well. And all of these requirements are going to be fulfilled by this new Linux desktop that I'm going to be creating around this chip. So yeah, the review is 15 pages long. I'm not going to go into everything, but just as a indication, the timed Linux kernel compilation took 47 seconds on this machine. And if you scroll through, the Ryzen 9950 is just on top everywhere. It's on top here, it's on top here, it's on top here. It's just on top everywhere. I can click through everything and it's just on top everywhere. And it means it really outshines all of the other chips that are available, AMD or Intel. And especially what's interesting is rendering, video rendering. It's also on top there as well, everywhere. So that is very relevant for me as a content creator. These are all video rendering workloads, very, very, very high performance benchmarks. Another interesting one is database workloads. It's really outshining the other ones here. Look at this comparison with the i9-14900K. It's just on top, on top, on top, on top everywhere. And I'll link the review below so you can view it for yourself. But just as an indication, it's on top everywhere. It's amazing. So the chip ends up on top everywhere. But also, as I wrote here in the post in the school community, this fellow has actually found situations where gaming was actually better on Linux compared to Windows. It was actually better on Linux. So are we actually going to see the turnaround point now where gaming is going to be better on Linux, even while running in Proton? Like, these are exciting times, fellows. This is actually going to be a very interesting experiment that I'm going to do. So I put this post in the school community. And this community is something I created where almost 400 members are gathered now. We are all command line ninjas, neo-Vim warriors. We are all into the same stuff. Zettelkasten, note-taking, Kubernetes, Linux. Everybody is focused on achieving their goals. There's 32 pages of knowledge being shared here. You get access to all of my courses here in the classroom. It's about 25 hours of course material that you get instant access to, all of my note-taking courses. And there are live Q&As twice a week where you can ask questions to me directly. You get direct access to me, and you can also ask questions in the community, which I usually answer on the same day. So check it out. It might be very interesting for you. So to go to the conclusion of the review here, he includes this geometric mean of all test results, and it's just on top here. It's just fantastic. And in the conclusion, he says, when taking the geometric mean of all the raw performance results, the Ryzen 9950X came out to being 17.8% faster than the Ryzen 9 7950X. So it's an almost 20% increase from the previous generation on Linux. So on Linux, the results are much better, and the reviews that you see on YouTube are not justified. Then finally, there is also the Ryzen 9950X was 33% faster than the Intel Core i9 14900K overall. Wow. Mind blown. Like, this is the perfect chip if you are going to be on Linux. So yeah, I'm going to do it. I'm going to order it today. I'm going to be ordering my new desktop. I'm going to build it. And I'm going to be documenting the entire journey on the channel. Not only the build, but especially, like I've announced previously, that I would do a series on Linux and Linux fundamentals. So I'm going to take the opportunity to build an Arch Linux system from scratch on the desktop and teach you Linux along the way. So if you know the Linux fundamentals, then it would be a great point to start watching the series. And I'm going to be pulling everything apart, looking at the PS tree, looking at the processes, and building it up slowly, bit by bit, learning about window managers, learning about Wayland along the way. It's going to be a nice journey to follow. And I'm going to be documenting and explaining everything here on the channel for free. So if you haven't subscribed yet, subscribe down below, and then I hope to see you in the series. In summary, fantastic news for content creators and people who are going to be running workloads on their computer, who also maybe want to do gaming on Linux. And that is also what I'm going to be doing with my own setup. So I'm super excited about this. I'm going to be ordering some parts now. See you in the next video.